Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
This one comes from Jessica. It looks like the Oscars' implication that animated films are just for little kids and adults just have to put up with them. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller have had enough. I read their article calling on Hollywood and the audience in general to start giving some damn respect to the field of animation and animated movies. Did you have a chance to read the article, and do you agree with what they have to say?
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Jessica. And yeah, now, of course, there's been a renewed conversation here lately because of the presentation of Best Animated Film at the Oscars, where 3 of the live-action Disney princesses came out to present the award, in which they said, you know, animation is so special because they were important to us in our formative years as children. And yeah, children love to watch these movies over and over and over again. And you parents know what, and the implication is, of course, that animation is just for little kids and adults only watch it because they're parents and they have to put up with it. Now, it was a joke, right? Like, I am a huge fan of animation. I knew it was a joke, all right? Jokes are made at the Oscars all the time. Everybody needs to be able to take a joke. But even though it was just a joke, the problem is that the joke actually does kind of reflect what a lot of people's attitudes are about animation. I've pointed this out many times over my career, going all the way back to the movie blog days, is that there was a stretch of years where 6 out of 7 years, the number 1 critically rated film of the year was a Pixar film. But none of those films had been nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Award. The Academy needs to take animated films more seriously. Their answer was a half measure. They decided, well, all right, we're so tired of dealing with animated, so I don't know. Hey, set up a kiddie table over there. Yeah. We'll make a Best Animated Oscar category so we don't have to bother considering them for the real Oscars. And so they created a Best Animation category, to which a lot of animation fans celebrated, but I'm like, no, this is disrespect. I consider the creation of a Best Animated category to be a form of disrespect to the medium of animation. The best movie is the best movie is the best movie. It doesn't matter what the medium is in which is projected on screen. And for a lot of years, I mean, look, I celebrate when great movies win Best Animated Picture. That's great, but it's still, to me, a sign that that category even exists. That the Hollywood, and not just Hollywood, a lot of the audience do not take animated films seriously. And it's a problem. And 2 other guys who have recognized this as a problem are 2 of the great filmmakers today, Lord and Miller, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who of course did Rainy with a Chance of Meatballs, which I love that movie. And of course they were kind of like, they were the producers with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I think is like one of the best movies of the past 5-6 years, let alone best animated movies. They've got Oscars on their mantle and all that kind of stuff. So the latest thing that happened to the Oscars kind of prompted them to write an op-ed piece for Variety. And I'm going to read several paragraphs here. So hang with me here as we read about a bunch of this. I'll see if I can get this a little bigger on the screen for you guys. But basically they start off with this. Last Sunday at a very eventful Oscars, it was easy to miss when 3 actors identified as Disney princesses presented the Best Animated Feature Award by reading, "Animated films make up most of our formative movie experiences as kids. So many kids watch these movies over and over and over and over and over. I think some parents out there know exactly what we're talking about." Framing the 5 Academy Award nominees for Best Animated Feature as a corporate product for kids that parents must begrudgingly endure could be dismissed as simply careless. But to those of us who have dedicated our lives to making animated films, that carelessness has become routine. The head of a major animation studio once told an assembly of animators that if we played our card rights, we could one day graduate to live action. Years later, an executive at another studio said a certain animated movie we made was so enjoyable that it reminded them of a real movie. There are, of course, more important things in the world and more important things to think about in the wake of this year's Oscars, including some true high points we shouldn't overlook. Beyonce, Compton, Coda, Questlove. But the repeated diminishment of our art form is at the top of animators' minds. We are currently negotiating with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers to get studios to pay animation workers fairly, especially when animation is such a large and important part of their bottom lines. Look up hashtag New Deal for animation to learn more. During the pandemic, when much physical media production was shut down, animators began working from home immediately to keep the business afloat. Now I want to jump ahead a paragraph. This is key here. Lord and Miller point out, they are also hits. When broadcasters bemoan the fact that so many of the nominated films have not been widely seen, they must be forgetting that animated movies and nominees Luca, Raya and the Last Dragon, and Mitchell's vs. the Machines, which was really good, by the way, were 3 of the 10 most streamed movies of 2021. 7 of the 10 animated. Or that 25% of the 50 highest grossing films of all time are animated. Or that huge percentages of theatrical audiences for mainstream animated films is made up of adults unaccompanied by children. Animation is for everyone. That's the battle cry. Animation is for everyone. And the studios know it. That's why we're seeing unprecedented investment in animation production. They go on and basically talk about this. Then they make some great suggestions like, hey, how about this? How about when you're presenting the Academy Award for Best Animation, how about get a respected filmmaker? Get a Guillermo del Toro. Hell.
Who loves animation.
Get a Miyazaki.
Yes.
Who has never been on the Oscar stage. Get Miyazaki in here to present the award or something like that, right? And I just wanted to address for a second the overall concept of this. Is it fair to say that traditionally animation has been made for kids? You're not off on another universe if you suggest that. That has kind of been the perception for a long time. But if you've been paying attention, even historically, whether you're talking about Fritz the Cat or whatever, heavy metal, but animation today, and this is what I've always said makes Pixar so great. Pixar does not make children's movies. They don't make kids' movies. They make kid-friendly movies. When you watch The Incredibles, why would you think for 1 minute that movie was made for children? It's a movie about 2 parents, slightly past middle age, thinking back, and the father especially, thinking about back to his glory days and seeing where his life has come, feeling certain regrets or whatever, maybe not capturing the totality of what he actually has to appreciate in his life. Tell me what that, for what kid's going to understand any of that? The thing that has made Pixar the best animation studio in the world is that they make movies for everyone. Their movies are for everyone. Every one of their movies that I watch is at least 40% of it that no kid would ever understand. But it is friendly for children at the same time. And that's great. We sit down in a movie theater and we watch moving images on a screen. And they need to tell us stories with characters we care about, with themes we can relate to. They got to make us laugh and they got to make us cry. They got to make us feel. They got to do what every movie needs to do, which is deliver an experience. It don't matter what fuck the medium is when it's on that screen. It doesn't matter if a director has an idea for a scene of a character who's going through this. Okay, well, get an actor and point a camera at him doing it, or get an artist to sit down and create the visuals of it doing it. It's still that story. The movies are either good or they're not. And while I think some overblown reactions to the Oscar presentation have been made, because I get it was just a joke. I think it's been overreacted to a little bit, but it does raise the point. Animation does not get the fucking respect it deserves. The people who make animation do not get the respect they deserve.
Not at all.
And honestly, I've been saying for a long time, the fact that animated movies come out and the first thing studios do is rush out to hire popular, famous actors to do it instead of properly trained voice actors. And I get sometimes marketing is a part of the movie business. I get that. I understand that. Maybe that's why you get Jack Black to do the voice of Poe. But then you got 30 other characters. Maybe get people who actually train in voice acting do it. And I'm not just saying there to kiss the ass of a voice actor who's sitting in here. I've been saying this since the movie blog days. Guys, we want to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of this video, Stamps.com. You know, they call what I and what a lot of you guys do small business, but to us, it doesn't seem small. It's the world to us. And you can't afford to miss out on opportunities to grow and keep your customers wanting more. Because time is money. Don't waste either with repeated trips to the post office. With Stamps.com, you can skip the trip and focus on how to take your business to the next level. Stamps.com lets you print official postage right from your computer and saves you money in the process. So you can spend less time at the post office and more time making your customers happy. Stamps.com gives you access to all of the post office and UPS shipping services that you need right from your computer. And get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS. So stop overpaying for shipping with Stamps.com. Sign up with the promo code Campea for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com and click on the microphone at the top of the page and enter the code Campea. So I don't know, Chris, you know, obviously you have a dog in this fight. You are heavily vested in the animation world. You've done voices on many animated projects. You are a vocal coach. You teach people how to do this stuff. But you've read through Lord and Miller's article here. What stands out to you, and what do you think is the ultimate message to take away from this?
That it does need to be given more respect. And I also didn't really enjoy the quips of the princesses, but I also was, it's a joke. That being said, this kind of disrespect does trickle down throughout the entirety of the industry. I've talked about on here before. When I was on the SAG nominating committee, I wasn't nominating any voice actors. That wasn't even an option for me. Not even vocal performances of all these A-list actors who were getting jobs in animation. Just could not vote for anyone doing any voiceover work. The animators themselves, the reason why we need a new deal for animation is because they are worked to the bone. They are worked horrible, horrendous hours. And everyone was up in arms doing all the IATSE posts before. And I called people out on social a few weeks ago. Where are all of you now? Where are all of you while we're trying to do all this stuff, the same stuff for animators? Because yes, it was horrible hearing about all the things that were happening on live action sets. It is still happening, and often sometimes worse with animation. They didn't have a break during the pandemic. They went immediately to work because they could. And that's where most of you got your entertainment then, was from animated projects. Commercials went that way too, doing animated features with voice actors talking over those things as well. So when we don't have that baseline of respect for this medium, because like you're saying, it's a medium, it's not a genre, then no one's going to give it the care and attention that it deserves. Beauty and the Beast is probably the most formative film I ever watched in my life. And 30 years ago, it earned a Best Picture nomination.
First one ever. First animated film ever.
And it deserves it. You watch that film and it's beautiful. And frankly, when they tried to do it as a live action film, it was dog shit. Oh, I love Emma Watson so much. I love Luke Evans. How did that movie go so bad? It's because the other one, you didn't need to change anything. Everything was great about it. Why would you touch it, you know? So I do think that Miller and Lord are right on the money here. And the fact that people inside the industry say stuff like that too, maybe one day you'll get to do big kid stuff, because I hear that as an actor all the time. Hey, do you ever want to do proper acting? Do you ever want to be a real actor? Fuck you. I'm a real actor. I have to do it without my body language. I don't have the luxury of having a camera that's basically smarter than most actors because it picks up all your micro expressions. I don't have that. If I'm losing 55% of the way people communicate, how am I going to tell a story and how am I going to be of service to animators who worked themselves to the bone? That's difficult. That's an art form and it needs respect.
Guys, question is for you. What do you think about what Lord and Miller's saying here? I completely agree with them 100%. It's time to stop looking at this. Like, can you continue to make animated films that are for children? Sure. But it's time to recognize that a lot of animated films are just made for everybody. And I think they deserve to get that respect. And I'm going to continue to call on the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. And I know a lot of animation people don't want to hear me say this, but get rid of the best animated category and just actually give animated films the proper respect. When you had like 6 out of 7 years where they're the #1 critically rated films, but they don't get nominated for Best Picture, that's a problem. And it's time to respect them. Anyway, guys, that's just my take on it. What do you guys think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.